Good morning and or good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are finding this video or choosing to listen to this video. I hope you stay from beginning to end. And no, it is not some crazy mistake that the only thing that you're seeing is the path and the trail ahead. This is a choice, as I am continuing a journey that I had taken a few weeks ago through a 12-day transformational boot camp that was of a higher calling for me to take through my body's healing, as our body holds a lot of muscle memory and our body holds a lot of the stories that you have existed within, and we carry within us that whole essence of the soul self that has its part of the Akashic records of this life, the role and the times, the journeys that your soul has been on. And you're human, it's only been on this journey. And the soul that this, or the journey that your human has been on, is the one that is everything that has been on that path back there. The path behind you, not the path ahead of you, because that is in creation. Your soul self probably already created it, but you're human, you have not lived it yet. We're right here, right here. Stay right here with me, don't leave me. And even if you can't walk, even if you, right now, that's just one of your dreams, is to be able to get moving again, to get going again, that just staying with this video and just knowing that you are making a choice to choose to walk with me, is that your body is in the movement and the flow of shifting and changing and letting the obstacles be removed in the body. And it's amazing how many we have and how freeing it is to start to free yourself of, the thought of thinking about how we have to fix ourselves. Because the more thought you put in having to fix yourself, the more broken it feels, and the more broken that you feel your brain is. And so, because what we're not doing is we are not fixing anything that was back there. It is impossible. You cannot do it. So it's anything that happened in the past, all that is back there is unrepairable, unfixable, because it's now invisible. It's the ghost of the past, right? You know it existed, you know it happened, but it is not your today. What is of your today is everything that you keep allowing a grocery cart in the woods. Everything that you keep allowing to hold you hostage, or to keep you in trying to be in control of what you are not willing to let go of today, or what you keep trying to create in your life that is not working based on what you experienced in the past, including the FUs that we use towards the world, saying, I'll prove to you. Well, you got nothing to prove to your past. You got nothing to make up for from your past. You have nothing to recreate from the past. And even if you try, it's impossible, because you already lived that freaking past. You were already there. And you're not going to be the same person. It's not the same person here today as back there. So no matter how much you try to recreate it, not possible. Just saying. So the conversation that we're having today is we are having a conversation about self-esteem, and how we don't often use languages. Oh, we must have had some big ass windstorm last night. I must have slept through that. There is trees down everywhere. Interesting. Amazing. It is just like, I think a little wind tunnel went through. See? So many things happen around us that we don't even know is happening. And so so self-esteem. And self-esteem is not, we don't often say, oh, I have a lack of self-esteem. We will use all other words and terminology, actions, behaviors, attitude, that all take us to what we call the shadows of ourself, our not true self, instead of acknowledge what our truth really is. And a lack of self-esteem is that lack of worth. And so when we have a lack of worth and lack of self-esteem, people actually sometimes try to act bigger than what they are. They try to put on a face. They try to put on a front. They have that whole, well, let me show you who I am and I'll prove to you. And so that's where the overdo it, the over-exaggeration, the over-emphasizing, the over-mothering, the pleaser, all of that comes into play. The workaholic, because we're always trying to make up for something. And within that, we lose a major part of ourselves. And so our dignity, our sense of dignity goes to shit. And it just goes to shit in a handbasket, right? We just like lose so much more of the self identity of our true values, our core essence of us. And I don't mean what someone tells us we have to be and what someone tells us we have to believe in, such as, being pushed and forced into any religion or any belief system. Schools, churches, everything are quite capable of, pushing that identity and that this is who you need to be, this is what you have to have, and that's those things drastically affect people's sense of self-esteem and self-worth. Because if you're not accomplishing, you're not getting, you're not doing, you're not believing, you question that belief, is that then you get knocked down. And so we don't really remember to connect to our truth and to our sense of who we are at the very core. And knowing our core value is so, so important. Good morning. And so knowing who you are at the core of you, knowing your truth, all lies into that story of self-esteem. So if I were to tell you today that today I want you to go research, look up the definition of self-esteem, and then look at all the other words that are in there. And so self-worth would be one of the ones. Now, take self-worth. Now, where are you trying to make self-worth? Where are you trying to create self-worth in your life? Trying to force it. Where are you trying to overdo it? Who are you trying to please? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to force? And that's why I said to you in the very beginning, if you can't walk, don't push yourself to walk. You're going to quit. Because if you push yourself to walk and you're not ready to walk, or you don't feel healthy enough, you don't feel emotionally prepared, you feel like your tank is empty, then you're going to push yourself and you're going to set yourself up for another sense of a disappointment, a failure, because ultimately you'll be placing expectations upon yourself that are unachievable, unobtainable. I'm just looking at the little muskrat or something going across here. And so when you look at that worth and you look at that sense of where are you trying to create it. So walking with me, I'm going to tell you right now, you will get more value if you don't have enough gas in your tank by sitting on your couch, closing your eyes, and letting you transcend the one-dimensional thinking, transcend the thought that you've got to physically move, and let yourself move with my voice. Let your body take you. Let your soul self, let your spirit guide you into the essence of walking a new path. Because you have these pathways that go from the brain into the body, and it's these meridians and these nerve endings and the blood flow. And so there's all these paths and directions where things flow, and body works in alignment to flow. And so you will be right back into not feeling worthy, quitting on yourself and not accomplishing following this along with me, if you quit on you, if you try to do something you're not prepared for, set an intention, set a goal that you dream of the time that you can walk with this, and send that feeling forward. And I'm going to keep emphasizing this to you. Send that feeling to the future self of you, who will still be you, but without less baggage, that will be in that future, and see her. And by this, what you are doing is you are loving on her. You are nurturing on her. You're not trying to make her do something that she's not prepared for. And by she, I mean you, or he, whoever you are, whatever you are, however you identify. And that you're not sending yourself into another spiral, which then leaves you judging, criticizing yourself, which is ultimately then affecting the sense of treating yourself with dignity, not showing yourself the same kindness and respect that you would show somebody else. If somebody else wasn't capable, but there could be a potential for down the road, you would encourage, you would inspire. And you have to be that same inspiration to you. You have to be able to empower yourself to be able to start one action, which means listening from beginning to end, staying with it, closing your eyes, taking the time to sit with you. Because the big part about self-esteem is that because you see yourself as less valuable and less worthy, you tend to give away the best things of you to other people first. So you feed yourself the crumbs. And as long as you're feeding yourself the crumbs, you're always going to be starving for something more. You're going to be craving something more. You're going to be wanting something more. You're going to be starving your body of its nutrients. You're going to be crunching on things out of desperation instead of healthy desire. You're always going to be so focused on what the material world can provide for you to give you the best life. And you're going to not be focused on what do I have. And you're not going to be aware, or you're not going to be consciously paying attention to the fact that you have to feed you. Because if you don't feed you first, you're not here. You might have low self-esteem, but do you know how many people love you? Do you know how many people care for you? Do you know how many people are waiting for you? Because we might not have a real big purpose to the world as a general. That's just humans. We just don't. But we're here on purpose, and we were placed here to find and discover that we can evolve, and we can start to grow. And it's us in the evolution of us and creating and being that self-love within us that we light up the world with even more love, and we do loving things. So the core of the self-esteem and the self-worth, and what keeps us in that state of, we use this terminology, and I'm going to use this lightly. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist. We will say to ourselves, I am depressed. I'm sad. I'm angry. But do we ever stop and say, I am lacking self-esteem, so I run out of steam. I am lacking self-esteem, so I run out of steam. I run out of the gas. I run out. And so by that, then we run out on us. We stop. We abandon. We leave ourselves behind, because something in the childhood, in the inner child healing, the younger version of you healing, there is something that has a story of the past that you have taken with you. And I'm just reading the graffiti that's written all over the trails of, where this kind of starts to begin. And the word is actually enemy. It's hard to see, but it says enemy. And This is all graffiti, and I'm not supporting the graffiti, but I can tell each and every one of those children that you know, even if they're an adult, there's an inner child that didn't receive or felt they didn't receive the love and is lacking the self-esteem. So if you were told as a child that you were bad, that you're the problem child, that you're the weird, or that you're not enough, or that you're just not doing enough, or you're just never going to be nothing, well, those things become, just like childhood dreams, become adult problems, adult issues. And it's the issues that we don't allow ourselves to tears and to give ourselves the tissues so that we can cry and that we can free ourselves and that we can let it go, and we hold on to and we harbor. So they become adult problems that then tie to that self-esteem. So let's get clear on what it is that is our real problem. Let's get clear on the words that we're using to describe what we are, something scared me, what a little bird or something just popped off the bush. And let's get clear on what we are actually existing within. What is your truth? And so when we look at that self-esteem, and we look at where we keep having to make excuses for, and every time we make excuses for, or every time we justify, then we're saying to ourselves in our minds, in our mind stories, if only I was good enough. If only I was in this body. If only I had this. If only I had money. If only I was the ideal weight. If I was younger. If I was. Well, you're not. You're this. So you become the punisher. You become the punisher, punishing the versions of you that you now tell yourself are not enough. Is that aligning with you today? Is that suiting you today? Are you done punishing yourself? Are you done doing this? So if you are, if you're seeing this and feeling this and sensing this somewhere in your body, know that right here, right now, what we are doing, not going to go to the head. We're going to drop all the way down into that space and that place in the body. And we're going to illuminate this beautiful love that flows from me to you as we walk in this beautiful energy, as I walk with the power of the divine, of the holy, the ascendant masters, the angels, and the guides. And we're going to allow healing to just walk through your body today, flow through your body, and to start to clear and purify those thoughts, those energies that block in the body, and that we start to see it steaming, powering up a new energy. We don't want to create a story. We don't want to give it some false hope, but we want to see that little bit more of faith in you, of that feeling you sense forward, that I know this is what I want my future to feel. And to have faith that that is in you, that you have the power to feel that right here, right now. Send it forward, and then set an intention to feel more of that feeling each and every day, to inspire, to empower you to be able to walk forward with that as your truth. And I hope today that this resonates with you. I still have a long walk ahead of me. And just like I ask of you to take time for you, I also am sure to take time for me and embrace my journey and my walk. So much, much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you in our next video. Bye-bye.